Welcome to the latest episode of 5 on the Floor on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. Thanks for joining us on your favorite podcast app. We're on Podbean, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. We're also on Dash Radio on the Nothing But Net channel every single weeknight at 7 p.m. Make sure you check out the 5 Reasons YouTube channel. You may be actually watching this on that. So if you are, hit the like and subscribe button. We do before floor an hour before every game. We do post up 5R as soon as the game ends. Check out 5reasonsports.com for the latest takeaways from Brady Hawk and others. He's going to be with me here on the podcast. And check out the great sponsors of the 5 Reasons Sports Network. We've been telling you about this one here for a little while. It's called NordVPN, and this is for internet security, which we know everybody needs. Go to nordvpn.com/5RSN. That's our product code, nordvpn.com/5RSN. You will get your exclusive NordVPN deal, which includes a discount on the plan, 1 additional month for free, and a bonus gift at checkout. You also get NordVPN's 30-day money-back guaranteed. All of this completely risk-free. So make sure you get NordVPN. It protects you from bandwidth throttling from internet providers where ISPs slow down your internet to get you to upgrade. And also, it encrypts your internet traffic and hides your IP and virtual location. So important stuff, nordvpn.com/5RSN. And now, today's episode. Artie and Skolnick, if you're listening on the podcast channels, we are back here. If you're on YouTube, you've been watching us all along. Here's today's floor plan. I got Brady Hawk. You can follow him at Brady Hawk 305. And we have one of the Heat lifers, the Heat originals. He's wearing the t-shirt here with us, Jose Pañeda. I'm going to acknowledge I've known Jose a long time. We used to run into each other at the Marco Island Marriott before they did the renovations. And then I came back. I've also acknowledged, and I did this on Twitter, that I was listening to Jose a lot lately because I did not realize that if you accidentally toggle to the SAP button on your television, it switches you to Spanish. And so for 2 entire games, I was trying to figure out why I was listening to Jose instead of Eric. I enjoyed the experience, I will say that, but I did call my cable company and got through after about 3 days to figure out why this was happening. So apparently I'm not the only one that this has ever happened to, Jose.
That's correct. First of all, thank you very much for having me, Ethan, and you guys doing an incredible job. And yes, I remember back in 89, 90, when we first started this, Billy Cunningham said the same thing. He goes, he had to watch the whole game. He didn't know why it was in Spanish, and it's happened often. But you'd have called me. I would have, navigated you through there. And
I was listening to you. How could I have called you? You were literally calling the action.
Yeah, there's people text me all the time during the games. That's nothing new. That's nothing new, Ethan.
I will say that does happen all the time. My favorite thing about texts at games was, I'm literally game 6, 2013 NBA Finals. I've written my entire column. The Heat season has gone up in flames. The MF and ropes are out there and all that. And Ray, and I had already written my column. My deadline was in 6 minutes. So that was it. And all of a sudden Ray hits the shot and I'm getting texts from like 30 friends. Did you effing see that? And I'm like, yeah. I just saw it, and I'm rewriting in 6 minutes. F you and F this and a whole bunch of F's. So yeah, I'm accustomed to the text. You get a lot of those during games, like asking if you're seeing the action.
Not if I'm seeing the action, but other things like my brother lives out in the West Coast. He lives in San Jose, so he'll be texting me in the middle of a game, and doesn't realize that he didn't see the schedule, or a family member, hey, bring me something, or can you get me tickets or something like that. So it happens, obviously. And then, since we're sitting in the masses, people come up to us all the time and just tap us on the back during the game as we're trying to call it, hey, how are you? I'm here. And I'm like, yeah, well, I'm on the air, but it's part of the deal. So it's been a lot of fun. I can't complain.
I'm going to let Brady get to some basketball questions here in a second, but I have a couple of things I do want to get to just biographically. How many Heat originals are left?
Well, I want to say like 6. Last time I counted. So, we're about 6 original employees from the first year, and we're counting Rosting in that too. Okay, we're going to let him back in, although he left for a while. We're gonna leave him back in there.
Well, they let Dwayne back in. They let Zoe back in.
So, well, exactly, but no, but they're not Heat lifers. They
No,
weren't original
I
Heat lifers.
understand that, but the organization did. But you're allowing Roddy back in. That's nice of you.
Well, if he had to be tormented with that first 3 years, and the first, especially that first year, and 17 losses in a row, he is allowed to come back in. There's no doubt about that.
How many are so? Okay, so there's 6. So let me see if I can do this. Andy,
Yeah,
Jeff Craney.
correct. Who was your first original employee of the Heat, by the way? Hired by Zeth Buffman when Zeth Buffman had an office in Coconut Grove at the Playhouse.
Eric.
Eric.
Okay, so we are at 4 of you guys. Now Brady.
Myself.
I just want to clarify. Brady was born in.
Yeah, 2003. So this is your segment. This is
Okay, so we've got Craney, we've got you. Was Woolworth original?
No.
Okay.
No.
Oh, wow, I missed one. All right.
You're missing a big one.
I'm missing a big. Yeah, I am missing a big one here. Wow. Is this person gonna be upset at me? Probably.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. All right. Well, we counted Ronnie, so that's one. Who is the big one I'm missing?
Andy Ellisberg.
No, I said Andy. I said
You
Andy.
did?
Yes.
I'm sorry. I didn't hear that.
Yeah, I don't want
apologize.
Andy upset at me.
All right.
No,
and Sandy, right. Okay. Then, and Sammy Schulman.
I would not have guessed.
CFO.
I would not. Okay. That one I probably. Craney is the one that I think a lot of people in public may not know because they don't know all the work that Jeff does behind the scenes. But yes. Okay. So we're there. All right. So that is 6. And are you able off the top of your head to say how many games you've called?
No. I looked it up the other day only because Tommy Tighe asked me to on the Heat Weekly show. But other than that, no, it's somewhere around 2,700 consecutive games. I've never missed a game in since I started year 2. I didn't start year 1. In year 1, I was in sales for the Heat. I started year 2. So it's somewhere around 2,600, 2,700, something like that right now.
What was the closest you came to missing a game?
My kids, my sons, I missed half of a playoff game because my son was graduating at the Hyatt Center nearby at the Hyatt by the arena, and I was able to go to the ceremony for the first half of their graduation. I have twin boys who are now 26 years old and were born into this. And then I was able to go back. But other than that, not really. I really think that this year would be the year, and there's still a chance that I would miss a game because of COVID. I've been, very, very lucky, health-wise, and just things that have happened in life that, I've been able to maneuver around, situations and not miss ever a game. So when guys are out because of rest, a little weird for me.
I was going to say, you are not on the maintenance program at all.
No. And listen, there have been days, I was, I had an incredible cold. I couldn't hear myself. It was like 100 and some degree, temperature and sweating like buckets in a hotel room somewhere out, middle, Cleveland or wherever it was, or a night out, with the guys, and the next night, am I going to make it? It's happened, but I've always made it.
If you were in Cleveland, you were better off in the hotel room. But I'm gonna say this for then we're gonna come back with some basketball stuff here. I'm gonna say this for Greg. That is Heat culture. I mean, we could have Jimmy on the pod. We could have PJ Tucker on the pod. We are not. I mean, Jimmy takes days off. PJ has missed games this year. We are not UD. I'm sorry, UD. You do not compare to Mr. Pañeda here because UD has missed time. He came back early from a serious foot injury. Probably shouldn't have done that, but he has missed time. All right, when we come back, we're going to let Brady jump in on some basketball, talk about this season, and then I'm going to go in the last segment back on memory lane with Jose. All right, back here on 5 on the floor. Want to talk a little bit about this year's team. Obviously, the break has happened, and as we do this broadcast, we're going to be back on Friday with the Heat playing the Knicks and the Spurs this weekend. So I'll just start it off and let Brady jump in. I mean, where do you put this season so far?
Well, I think before I continue, I got to add, make sure. Did we mention Tony Fiorentino, by the
Oh
way,
my
as a
God,
heater?
we didn't mention Tony.
Okay, all right. So I just wanted.
Wait, I
to
just
make
got a
sure.
text. This hasn't even aired yet, Jose. This hasn't even aired yet. Tony's already texted me.
Get out.
Yo, how could
Yeah,
you forget me? You know what
yes,
Tony
of
usually
course.
does? I do want to get to basketball, but Tony's really good at this. When I run into Tony at the arena, like literally, like I was using like a bathroom urinal, okay, close to the practice court. Okay, this is a recent experience with Tony, but this has happened a lot. And he sidles up like two urinals down. I will say this, okay, two urinals down, and all of a sudden he'll like bring up. He's like, that thing you were talking about, about this guy getting traded, that didn't turn out to be true. And I'm like, I'm relieving myself here.
Tony
wait until we
is
get outside the bathroom.
Tony's incredibly passionate about everything and about the Heat, and he just that's his life, for a lot of us. And by the way, there's a lot of like stats group guys and people that have been there since day one as well. Ushers, I mean, there's a lot of people that have been there since day one, But again, getting back to like you said about the season, I think, and I talked to Eric Reed about this. We've been talking about this all year long. It's one of the funnest seasons we've ever had. It really has, because expectations are always high. Listen, when Pat Riley came, you always are going to expect to win, and it's winning and misery. There's no in between, and that's so true. And to try to win a championship and try to gather the chips, as he likes to say, to win a championship. And we have the chips, but all these injuries, it's just surreal of what's happened this year, and that we are tied right or number one right now in the East, third, fourth best in the NBA, and you see down the line, Lowry missed 13 games, and Jimmy missed 19 games, and Bam missed 25 games, and you had 7 players that were 10-day contracts at one point during that COVID crisis. In December. So, and we're number one, and it's just mind-boggling to me, and it's fun, and you don't know who's the next guy, and who's the guy who's going to be the star, and who's going to make the three-pointer, and who's going to be the guy. You got Hero, you got Duncan, you got guys Deadman coming off the bench and grabbing rebounds and offense. I mean, so it's Strus. I mean, just so many things that have happened this year, and it's been a lot of fun. I'll be honest, it's been one of the funnest years, because even the years with the big three, the pressure was incredible. I mean, every night you were expected to win, and just the hatred that there was everywhere that we went, including, I was listening to your show the other day, the batteries that were being thrown at the players in Cleveland when we went back that day. I mean, that's incredible. This is different, and it's a lot of fun, and right now everything's going well, and we have 16, 22, 23 games left, and things are very promising right now.
You mentioned so many guys being in and out of the lineup, and I think it's interesting, a question to ask, because I think it's debatable. Who do you think is the MVP of this team so far this season? When I say MVP, I don't mean the best player. Like, who's been the most valuable to this team? Because I think there's a couple different directions you could probably go with this, depending on opinion. But just speaking of value, who would you go with?
I think it's so difficult to say that, because so many guys have been out for so many games. And then how can you not say, well Jimmy's the best because he's the top scorer? Well, but he's missed so many games, and Bam's been so consistent when he has played as well, but he's been out so many games as well. Hero coming off the bench, he's been great. PJ Tucker, is he the glue to the team? It's very difficult. When you win a championship, again, you need 3 things. You need really a combination of all 3. You need health, first of all, which I know you guys talked about. It's obvious. You need talent, and you need a little bit of luck sometimes. The Ray Allen shot, the Kawhi shot. There's shots that you need from time to time that you need luck, and you need a combination of those 3. And so then for this year to say who is the MVP, I think that the team has proven, and maybe the MVP is Spo. That. We've missed so many guys, and we're still marching along. And his mantra of "we have enough" and "next man up" has played, to the fullest this year, more than any other year, I think. So I'd say Spo, and I was, so happy for him to go to the All-Star game. I know it's, Cleveland, and I know it's a burden sometimes, but I think that's really cool. And that he was named, top, 15 coaches, and that we've had him and Spo and Pat Riley and also Dr. Jack, with it again. So I'd say Spo is the MVP right now to be able to move around the pieces and that it works.
That's probably the best answer, honestly, because it's also a product of the developmental program that I know he's been so instrumental in, has allowed this in many parts, along with Adam and Chet and others in the organization, obviously, and Pat, who've pushed it. But Spo was really kind of the driving force behind a lot of that. And now you've seen this come to fruition. So I have a question on this, because obviously, as you tell it, it's a really compelling story. You have a team that has some personalities, that has some proven guys, has some guys who've been all-stars, a lot of come up from nothing type stories in the team. I mean, I tweeted this out a few weeks ago. Brady and I were trying to find another team in the league that has not used a top 11 pick the entire season. And until Victor Oladipo plays a game for the Heat this year, they are the only team. The Pacers have played a couple of top 11s. Those are the only teams that haven't played a top 10 player the entire season. Actually, now that Tyrese Halliburton's in Indiana, we didn't even do that, Brady. They're off the list, right? Because he was a top 10 pick. So considering this is such a great story, why is nobody nationally talking about it?
I know we're not LA, we're not New York, we're not Chicago, we're not Philadelphia, where maybe it's more prevalent, and they're the focus, the bigger cities, the more ratings, and that's what ESPN and maybe the national media is focused on. But it's okay. At the end, they're going to be here, so it doesn't really matter. Come June, they're going to be talking about how great it is to be in Miami. And when you run into all these national media guys, they always say, "Oh my God, I hope it's Miami. Oh my God, I hope it's Miami. Oh my God, I hope it's Miami," because it's Miami. So, and for different reasons, but that's okay. That doesn't bother us. Look at our fan base everywhere we go, Ethan. Everywhere we go. First of all, sold out for God knows how many years now at the arena. And then everywhere we go, they're almost like home games. You go to Atlanta, you go to Orlando. Orlando's like going to, the FTX arena. Brooklyn's the same way.
Yep.
You had the other night in Charlotte, by the way, for the first time. I hadn't heard that in a long time. Charlotte, the chance of Let's Go Heat. Mm-hmm. Everywhere we go, it's Let's Go Heat. So our fan base is phenomenal. You see that every year we lead we either lead or one of the top teams in merchandise sales. Thanks to Crazy Andy, our vice president, Andy Montero of sale of merchandising. Our fan base and you see that, I think the Heat's like number 2. We're number 1 or number 2 in social media following. I think over 5 million or something like that in terms of Twitter and Facebook and also Instagram. I think only the Lakers have a larger following now because of before and now because of LeBron. So again, it doesn't really matter. We're having a great time. It's fun. Our fans are having a good time. So if somebody else has a problem with it, that's their problem.
I know we should probably wait toward the end of the episode to ask you this, but I'm going to just jump into it right now. If you had to make a prediction, because we just looked back a little bit now at the final stretch of games, if you had to make a prediction right now, postseason, where do you think this Heat would finish? Just where is your expectation at? Where's maybe their ceiling? Where's their floor? And is it depending on a matchup, or do you kind of have a set place that you kind of feel is their range of finishing in the postseason?
Well, again, never ask for a matchup. You get what you get. I for years, you go, I wish, we should end up in the number 2 spot because we're going to play X team. We're going to finish the number 3 spot because we're going to play the X team. Don't do that. Don't do that because it doesn't, first of all, it doesn't really matter. You're going to play who you're going to play. Yeah, there are some situations that may be good or bad. Last year, for instance, if we didn't finish where we finished, we wouldn't have played Milwaukee in the first round, and maybe we would have gotten to the second round, maybe not, but it would have been a difference. But you can't really control that. You can't control that because of the schedule, because of guys in and out. And we really don't know what's going to happen now coming back. And Ethan, you guys, I don't dwell on that too much, of who's coming back or when are they not coming back. But what's going to happen with Oladipo? What's going to happen right now with Morris? What's happening with that? they haven't played basically with this team. So how are they going to incorporate? How's that going to make the team better, or not? How's that going to fit in the wheel? How's that going to interrupt what's going on now? So there's so many, variables as we're finishing up these last 20, 25. What is it? We've got 23 left. 15 at home, 17, 7 on the road, including 8 on the road, including Friday against New York. So listen, I think you always want to finish top because you always want to have that 7th game at home. Mm-hmm. So that's the goal, to finish one. And also that includes on the West Coast. I don't know if you're going to be able to catch up. I think it's impossible, basically, to Phoenix and to Golden State. But you want to have the best record because, again, that 7th game at home is always important. And I think history has proven that for us in a few finals.
When that Heat Memphis series is on Nickelodeon in the finals, when they put Lakers Nets at both eliminated in the play-in on ESPN, they get a second shot. You want that 7th game against Memphis to be at home so that you can control Morant. All right, when we come back, we're going to do some rapid fire here with Jose. I'm going to put him on the spot with some historical stuff. Brady's allowed to jump in on anything post 2003. So we'll do that here in a second. If you're on the YouTube channel, stay with us. If you're on our podcast network, here's a word from one of our sponsors. All right, we're back here on 5 on the Floor. Let's get to it. I'm going to go to a few of these. Who is the most underrated player in Heat history? The one guy that you do not think gets enough love.
Wow. In Heat history. Mm-hmm. In Heat history. Wow. I've never asked. Geez. I'm just going to give you a name, and it's going to be random because I haven't even thought of that, Ethan. The most underrated. I would say Mario Chalmers.
Wow. He's not underrated in his own mind, but to
well,
many of us, he is.
There you go. He uses controversial, so there you go.
Why would you pick Rio?
No, again, you just threw that out there. I don't know.
Come on.
He's a guy who always got, like you said, you always got hit on. Everybody was criticizing him. The thing with LeBron hitting on him, but he was key to our success. But there's a lot of guys that were keys to the success. And you say underrated. Well, again, everybody puts in a little bit to make it happen, man. So it's tough to pick. Underrated, just like, on the opposite side, there's so many guys that have been great that have helped. And if it wasn't for one guy, it wasn't for Shaq, well, he had Wade, but if you didn't have Shaq, then what happened? So, there's so many variables that next question.
All right, here's another one. Okay. And I speak a little Spanish, but I'm going to do this in English. Yeah. You cannot pick Carlos Arroyo for this. Okay. You cannot pick Carlos Arroyo for this. What Heat player spoke the best Spanish? The most proper Spanish. That was not his natural language. Was it Bosch?
Goran.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect. Goran. As a matter of fact, I had a conversation with Goran when he was here regarding Luka Doncic. Doncic speaks better Spanish than he does Slovenian. He says he was talking to the Doncic the other day, and he goes, I didn't understand his Slovenian because he doesn't even practice it anymore, and he was better in Spanish, so they had to talk in Spanish because his Slovenian was so bad. This is the guy who was born there. So definitely Goran. Goran's spectacular. Absolutely. Perfect.
Luke is going to fit in great here in Miami when he signs in a few years. You can't say that. That's tampering. But anyway, when he comes down here in a few years, he's going to fit in perfectly with the population. I'm going to one more, and Brady, I hope you're thinking of a couple. You've been obviously to every city in the country, every arena, pretty much. Give me your 3 favorite NBA travel cities.
Washington. Okay. San Francisco. LA.
Okay.
And those are in Chicago when it's not 10 below zero.
Well, that's, almost never. But yeah, okay.
I know.
All right, we'll give it to you. All right, Brady, jump in because I got a couple more here for Jose before we go.
I think you kind of said before that this is probably one of the most fun teams this season, but what is your favorite team you've been able to watch on the court? I know it probably isn't this one because this is most fun, but what has been your favorite overall?
Well, again, when we won the first championship, that's always going to be like your first girlfriend, it's you can't beat that in 2006. And then first of all, in 2005, you were there so close, and then you had the injury to Dwayne in his ribs, and we lost against the Pistons in the Eastern Conference Finals in 2005, and come back in 2006, and then to win the championship. And it's so difficult to get there, and so difficult to win a championship. And I pinch myself, and we pinch ourselves all the time. We've won 3, and it's unbelievable. But that first one, it was so. And again, down 2-0, down 15 points in the third quarter, of game 3, it's not going to happen. So many things happen there. So that team is going to be special forever, just because it was our first championship, my first championship. And, as a kid growing up here in Miami, born and raised here, and, you saw, on TV, all these teams, celebrating and champagne in the locker room. And here I was in the Dallas locker room after the game doing that same thing. And, so forever, that's going to be, fantastic. James Posey might be the most underrated guy. He was key in that championship, and people don't really talk about him, but he was that cog in the wheel, going back to maybe Rio gets pushed off, and I say James Posey, just because of that championship, how important that was and how he was to that team.
Posey's part of a long line of those kind of glue wings that they've had, whether it was a Bruce Bowen or a Posey or a Marley or a Battier. Or now I think Caleb Martin kind of fits into that category a little bit from what we've seen so far. Most disappointing. I think I know where you may go here, but take a second to think about it. Most disappointing moment. It could be anything. Okay. It could be on the court, off the court, that you've experienced following this team. Do you, because I've asked Eric Reed this question, and he goes to an obvious place, but I'm curious where you go.
I still think about it all the time. When I see him, I tell him that he walked. But the Allen Houston shot. And you got to go back. If you go back a little bit of history, we played them in that regular season, and we were up like 20 or something. It was a big lead, and it wasn't like now that big leads don't really mean anything because of a 3-point shot. And they came back and beat us at home, and that kind of triggered or started a little avalanche of wins for them that gets the Knicks into that 8th spot. And we play them obviously in the first round, and it's series 5, it's a best of 5 that time, and the whole thing. That I didn't sleep that whole summer. I took it to heart. I mean, it was so painful that for 3 months I was, and to this day, 99, the strike year, and every time I see Allen Houston, I looked at that play. I said, I think you walked. By the way, I think you walked. He just laughs.
I told Michael Rappaport that on the podcast that I thought he walked too, but
there you go. We've never spoken about this, and so it's true. So I wasn't wrong.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this: you got to look. Okay, they celebrate outside the Sbarro for winning one playoff game against Trae Young. Now you got to give the Knicks what you can give the Knicks, right? I mean, they got that Julius Randle contract from now until the end of time. Okay, they can have the Allen Houston shot, but the crazy thing about following this franchise, and when you're with a franchise as long as you have been, is that there have been so many of those disappointing moments, along with the high moments. I mean, there are other places. I mean, Zoe's kidney diagnosis, I think, was crushing to the organization. Chris Bosh's going to the hospital on the same day that Goran was acquired was crushing. LeBron leaving in 2014 for a lot in the organization was I mean, there have been these moments. It's just, and like the 6 of you who've been with it forever, it's like, I mean, you've lived a life inside this organization. I mean, it's been pretty much, all the highest highs and the lowest lows from the very beginning.
I have a story about the LeBron thing. So we're in Spain with my family. My family's from Spain. First time I take my kids there. When we were first there, we found out that my wife was pregnant. We didn't know they were twins in Spain. We go back 22 years later with my boys, and see the family, my father's uncles, cousins and stuff those are still alive there. And we're at a bullfight, I want to say we were at the running of the Bulls. We were at the running of the Bulls. And I'm getting, like, my phone explodes. I'm in the bull ring as, they had the trumpets are going, da 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 da. They're about to kill the bull, da da da. And then, text, LeBron's out, LeBron's leaving. So it was like, it was surreal in terms of, I couldn't, it was like a movie. a thriller where on the other side of the world, LeBron is leaving, and here I am, and this poor bull is about to get, killed in this bull ring, and it was happening with the music and the horns, and I'm like, and yeah, it's true for sure, he's gone, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I had to go outside, I had to get something to drink. I was like, so it was not a good time, but you know what? We had great times, and we continue, we move forward, and and hopefully this will be another great year and another championship.
Well, at least you got to call games the next year with Danny Granger, Josh McRoberts, and Henry Walker. So it all worked out. But I was waiting for my first and only child to be born. She was born 6 days later when this happened, and after it happened, I got a call from my boss at Bleacher Report, and I had a clause very specifically in my contract that says I am Miami based. And the first thing he says is, I know your daughter's being born in a couple of days, but we're going to put you up at a hotel in Cleveland. So I will say you were in a better place than me. Brady, we got one more each. Go ahead, Brady.
I just want to say that your stories are a lot more fun, both of your guys, when that happened. I think I was at a water park, so that's like the end of my story. So it's just a very different scenario. But I do want to go through, you were going disappointing, so I'm going back in the positive direction. Your favorite Heat play that you've been able to call, and I don't want to go in the Ray Allen direction because we all know that's kind of like the top one, but is there like an underrated or a favorite maybe game winner or call that you've made in a specific game?
Actually, I'll be honest with you, the Ray Allen shot, I did not have a great call, which is one of the iconic calls, but I'll be honest, it just I wasn't happy with it. I kind of delayed it a little bit, and I was disappointed in it. And that might have been, again, I was disappointed in that. But in terms of great calls, obviously when we win the championship, it's Jason Terry taking the shot as Gary Payton's holding his shorts, and then he misses, and then Dwayne Wade grabs the ball and throws up in the air to make sure that time expired. So for me, that first championship, Heat win, celebrate Miami. That's what I said in Spanish. So that to me is obviously one of my favorite calls. And again, you go back to that first championship because it was so good. I remember looking to my left, and in amazement was Mickey Harrison and Nick Harrison, and Mickey was like, "Well, what just happened?" Is it was like, well, I could tell that they were away from me, but I could tell that we just won the championship, And so that was a fun call, obviously, and something that got played over and over and over again. And then the Heat did a mix with Pitbull with it, with some of his songs. So that was pretty cool. I liked it. And any time that Zoe blocked the shot was so inspirational. So anytime that le tapa Alonso morning, or stuff like that is phenomenal. The Dwayne Wade 3-pointer at halftime against when he jumps on, or in Chicago as well. Actually, I guess in Chicago when he jumps on, "This is my house." That was a great call. So there've been with 2,700 games, there's bound to be one or two calls. Not all, but there's some. So I just put a lot of passion in it, and excitement, and it's just a lot of fun.
We're going to close with Jose here. You can follow him at La Voz de la Heat, right? Correct? Did I get that right?
Sort of. La Voz del Heat. Yes.
See, okay. We'll get me back
That's
into
okay.
those classes.
That's
I mean,
okay.
my daughter's working with me. She's
Yes.
half Colombian, so but she says my accent's, "Daddy, your accent is terrible." And then she speaks to me in Mandarin, and I can't even get any of that. All right, let's close here with this. Obviously, 2,700 games, but nearly that many players. Give me one player interaction that you'll always remember that you've had.
Well, at the beginning I was the same age, and it was a different time, and there was no social media. And you went out to dinner with the guys. It's a little different now. I can be their father, so maybe they're not their grandfather, but I could definitely be their father, and just a little different. And I give them their space to give that. So, but they've always been great, and everybody's been great. A great interaction, because it's a funny story. It's a good story. Is that we were on the bus and traveling with the team on the bus with the players. I was getting ribbed at one point for whatever reason that day. And Matt Geiger was ribbing me left and right. And he said something about milk. And I might have said something about mother's milk or something like that. And all the players went, oh boy, did he just say that to Matt Geiger? So Matt Geiger, we were getting into Milwaukee, and I walked into, they all waited outside the bus. They all got off the bus and they waited. They waited to see what was going to happen. And Matt Geiger fronted me. This guy is like 7 feet and like a wall, obviously. And basically pile drives me in a snowbank that's like 10 feet tall. And I'm trying to like hit him like this. And like really like, it's like an inch away. So he's not feeling this, but he was cool about it. I was cool about it. He did what he had to do to, to save his face. I did what I had to do. And so I thought that was an interesting story that I always kept about an interaction with a player. Another time with Ronnie Cycli, we went snowmobiling. He goes, oh, let's go snowmobiling. Think about it, in Utah. And he was going like 100 miles an hour with like nothing on. He bribed the guy. He paid, not bribed him. He paid the owner of whatever the place we showed up at. It was like basically somebody's ranch. And he bought the gloves from him because he was so cold for like $500. Okay. And it was me and it was Matt Geiger. And I think it was Alan Ogg, may he rest in peace. And Ronnie was going so fast and he hit some tree stump and he went flying. So again, imagine that happening in today's world, Ethan. I don't want to get close to a player. He gets hurt. It's my fault.
Right.
Pat will just go, ballistic. And I just, I wouldn't even think about it these days. But these interactions were different back then. Definitely.
Yeah, I was gonna say Pat would have put that clause in the contract. No snowboarding with Jose would have been in all the. Well, I mean, Ronnie's traveling the world now DJing, so I mean, things have turned out just fine for him. It's probably a lot safer than what he was doing before. Well, Jose, we appreciate the time. Thank you again. I might switch back to SAP. Don't tell Eric. I might do that here for a couple of the road games. Also, never tell Tony this episode existed, please.
Oh no, we got him in. We got him in.
Yeah, well, you had to do it. Trust me, I'm going to hear about this for the next 10 years. Thank you, Coach. All right, thanks, Jose. Thanks to Brady, and thanks to our sponsors.